Good morning. Welcome to the last edition of your favorite program on leadership television inside Nigeria. July. Today is July 26, 2024 on this program. And today's edition of the program, we are going to be looking at what the papers are saying, including Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership. My name is Winnie Kwedikwebo, your host on the program. We like to flag off with Nigeria's foremost Friday newspaper, Leadership Friday. Leadership Friday's main headline story today is still on the impending protest, which is scheduled to take place August 1st. And the headline says, Protest, states beef up security as Tinubu meets governors. Protest, states beef up security as Tinubu meets governors. Military VSS vow to resist violence, hijack of rally. Tinubu says, I'm not averse to peaceful demonstration. Protest won't hold in FCT, Wike declares. Protest organizers, TUC urges government. The story runs on page 4 of Leadership. Let's just have a snippet of what the news is saying. After a meeting between National Security Advisor NSA Nuhu Ribadu and the Nigerian Governors Forum NGF, security has been beefed up in most states of the Federation to contain the proposed protests against hardship and poor governance by the current administration. Some governors who attended the party in Abuja summoned an emergency security meeting during which they enunciated strategies to either prevent the protests from being held or being hijacked by hoodlums. The security agencies also rolled out measures to ensure law and order throughout the country. After the Governors' Party, the NSA President Tinubu also met with the Progressive Governors Forum (PGF) at the Presidential Villa Abuja on the planned protest. The agenda of the meeting was not made known to State House correspondents, but it may be connected to the rally slated for August 1. That is some paragraphs from that main headline story. Today on Leadership Friday, protest states beef up security as Tinubu meets governors. Other stories on the front headline page of Leadership Friday says Nigeria records fastest economic growth in 6 years in first quarter 2024, according to Edu, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy. Nigeria records fastest economic growth in 6 years in first quarter 2024. Still on building collapse, 5 die as building collapses in Lagos. No end in sight for this incessant building collapse. As a matter of fact, Leadership's editorial yesterday was on building collapse. One building collapse too many. And today, 5 die as building collapses in Lagos. INEC says we have capacity to conduct local government polls. It's a story that runs on page 7 of Leadership Friday. And with that, we move to this one story beside the masthead of Leadership Friday. 571 pharmacies, medicine shops shut in Bauchi. 571 pharmacies, medicine shops shut in Bauchi. The story runs on page 26 of Leadership Friday. And above the masthead, Senate vows to expose saboteurs in oil sector. Senate vows to expose saboteurs in oil sector. Ohaneze leader Iwanyanwu dies at 82. Ohaneze leader Iwanyanwu dies at 82. With that, we move to our stand. Our stand is on page 3 on Leadership Friday. Enhancing food security. That is our stand today. Enhancing food security. From our stand, we move to the back page of Leadership Friday, where we have conversation with Azu. Of course, today's conversation is on NNPC versus Dangote, where the truth lies. NNPC versus Dangote, where the truth lies. And don't forget, before we leave Leadership Friday, don't forget to grab a copy of Leadership Sunday this Sunday for a copy of Lego. Lego is an all-color or glossy style magazine from the stable of Leadership newspaper. So this Sunday, you grab a copy when you get a copy of Leadership Sunday. So for continuation of these headline stories, inside stories, the editorial and conversation with Azu, you log on to the website of Leadership, www.leadership.ng. From Leadership, we move to this day. This day has also main story on the impending protest nationwide. Traditional rulers, clerics, ulamas mobilize against hardship protests. Traditional rulers, clerics, ulamas mobilize against hardship protests. Oba Benin calls for patience. Oni of Ife, Sultan, other traditional rulers, Afenifere sue for caution. Tinubu says protest sponsors don't love Nigeria, have alternative passports. Insists no government will tolerate violent protests. Says he has no cabal, election self-sponsored. Confident economy on steady recovery path. Governors quote NSA, say protests gaining momentum. Military warns DSS uncovers sponsors. These are the riders beneath the headline story on this day. Traditional rulers, clerics, ulamas mobilize against hardship protests. And as other stories, Deputy Senate President hails Tinubu over Northwest Development Commission bill assent is a story that is on page 8 of this day. And above the main headline story, just beneath the masthead, Ohanese President Iwanyawu passes at 82. Tinubu declares death irreparable loss. Buhari, Abbas, Mba, Abiodun, Obi, Mon. Above the masthead of this day, Wale Edun, federal government surpassed half-year non-oil revenue by 30%. Exited Ways and Means track, says debt service cost dipped from 97% to 68%. Insists subsidy on PMS technically gone. Government set to float $500 million dollar-denominated bond, local bond. Cites impediments to immediate implementation of Supreme Court verdict on local government. Also one of the main headline story today on this day. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, declared yesterday that the federal government surpassed its 2024 half-year non-oil revenue target by 30%, following the implementation of its economic reforms. Edun disclosed that the government targeted a budget deficit of about 4% in the fiscal year. The first paragraph on that second main headline story today on this day, Wale Edun, federal government surpassed half-year non-oil revenue by 30%. Exited Ways and Means track. From The Guardian, we move to the next paper, The Guardian. However, log on to the website of this day to get more of the stories in today's paper, www.thisdaylive.com. From this day, The Guardian is next. However, before we take The Guardian, we also have similar story today running on Daily Sun. Daily Sun is all about protest story. Daily Sun says APC governors move to top promoters out of protest. As used to be patient with Tinubu, President meets traditional rulers, orders insist on patience with administration. Protests open invitation to anarchy, Defense Headquarters. TUC demands police protection as Orji Kalu begs youths. CSOs to shelve action. FCT not available for protesters, Wike main headline story on Daily Sun. Nigeria records fastest economic growth ever. Edun says federal government has opened $500 million bonds for diaspora citizens. Katsina living in multi-dimensional poverty, federal government. I'll take that again. Katsina living in multi-dimensional poverty, according to the federal government. It's a story that runs on page 28 of Daily Sun. Katsina living in multi-dimensional poverty. Troops kill 106 terrorists, rescue 103 hostages in 1 week. Group hits National Assembly for going on recess. Says no responsible parent goes to bed when house is on fire. INEC can conduct local government elections, Yakubu, INEC chair. Nigeria lost $10 billion to oil theft in 6 months, reps. Federal government spent $1.5 billion tackling menace in 4 years. Akume. And the last story on Daily Sun today is Soro tears as Iwanaru Ohanese president dies at 81. Tinubu Buhari governors Kanu others mourn eulogizing his lifetimes. That concludes front headline story today on Daily Sun. For more, log on to the website www.thesun.ng. From this Sun, we move to the Punch. Punch has similar story on impending protest. Tinubu rallies NSA monarchs as hunger protest looms. President meets APC governors Ooni, Sultan, clerics as planned protest gains momentum. Opposition charges Tinubu to address Nigerians. Army, DSS alleged plot to force regime change. I'll take that once again. Tinubu rallies NSA monarchs as hunger protest looms. President meets APC governors, Ooni, Sultans, clerics as planned protest gains momentum. Opposition charges Tinubu to address Nigerians as Army DSS alleged plot to force regime change. Beneath that main headline story, we have the pictures of the meeting that took place yesterday between President and traditional rulers. We have the President in handshake with the Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Said Abubakar III, and Ooni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, during President Tinubu's meeting with traditional rulers, led by the Sultan of Sokoto and Ooni of Ife at the presidential villa in Abuja on Thursday. Beneath that, NDA urges calm ahead of Kaduna Plateau shooting exercise. Police station rape, NGOs condemn pace of investigation. This story is on page 5 of the Punch. Police station rape, NGOs condemn pace of investigation. As two farmers killed in Nasarawa community land dispute. Two farmers killed in Nasarawa community land dispute. Beside the masthead of the Punch, 16 more state-owned schools get student loan approval. Above the masthead, President governors mourn as Ohanese leader Iwanyanwu dies. Probe: National Assembly summons NNPC Dangote over $10 billion oil theft. Tinubu may sign 70,000 naira minimum wage bill next week. It runs on page 34 of the Punch. For continuation of these headline stories, log on to the website of the Punch newspaper www.punchng.com. Which brings us to the last paper on our menu today, The Guardian. The Guardian has a different story altogether beside the protest story on the other papers in our menu today, and is on the signing into law of the development regions, some two regions development commission bill by President Bola Tinubu, talking about the Northwest Development Commission bill and the Southeast Development Commission bill. Region citizens languish amid proliferation of political SPVs. Development commissions without development. Region citizens languish amid proliferation of political SPVs. It's a big story that runs on pages 4 and 5 of The Guardian. We have the South. In other news, more regions demand Me Too development commissions. Of course, we have the South and the Southwest who are also making demands for their own development commission, and that is what the big story on the back of the Guardian newspaper is all about today. Development commissions without development. Region citizens languish amid proliferation of political SPVs. Of course, the story runs on page 4 and 5 of the Guardian. Snippets from that says according to amid the poor verdict passed by the people, both the NDDC and NEDC are complaining of paucity of funds, talking about the Niger Delta Development Commission and the Northeast Development Commission. They are complaining of paucity of funds. They are also accusing the federal government member states of not contributing certain percentages of their income to the agencies as specified by the law establishing them. For instance, the NDDC Act states clearly how the commission shall be funded. Section 14(2) provides the federal government shall pay the equivalent of a 15% of the total monthly allocation due to the member states of the Commission from the Federation account. This being the contribution of the federal government to the Commission, 3% of the total annual budget of any oil producing company operating onshore and offshore in the Niger Delta area, including gas processing companies. 50% of monies due to member states of the Commission from the Ecological Fund and other sources such as grants and loans. Apart from the federal government, which has been accused of not complying with the provisions of the NDDC Act, some oil companies have also not been paying the 3% of their annual budget as required by law. The NDTC alleged that they deducted the first charges before calculating the 3% from the balance. These are just snippets from the big stories today on The Guardian. Development commissions without development. This is following the signing into law of two regions development commission bill. Beneath that big story, planned protest, military warns against violence as DSS reveals plot to cause chaos. Nigeria's petrol import from Malta surges by 342% to $2.08 billion is on news page 3 of The Guardian. Don't forget, Dangote has alleged that most big men in Nigeria's oil sector have oil companies, refining crude companies in Malta. And today's story says Nigeria's petrol import from Malta surges by 342% to $2.08 billion. It's a news that runs on page 3 of The Guardian. TUC insists on May 1, 2024 date for new minimum wage. Is a news story on page 7 of The Guardian. Respondents recover 5 bodies, rescue 5 others in Lagos building collapse. NCS intercepts 7 containers of codeine syrup worth over 111 billion naira. Nigerian Customs Service intercepts 7 containers of codeine syrup worth over 11 billion naira. Tinubu Igbo Nation orders more demise of Iwayahu at 82. Federal government lost $10 billion to oil theft vandalism in 7 months. Listed firms groan over rising OPEX, 71% surge in energy costs. World Hepatitis Day, hope dimmed for 2023 elimination target for deadly virus. Is a news on page 6 of The Guardian. And with that, we conclude the review of the front headline stories today on The Guardian newspaper. For more, log on to www.guardian.ng. With that, also, we conclude today's Inside Nigeria, which was brought to you on Leadership Television. My name is Jimmy But he is wishing you a beautiful weekend. Same time, same station. Next week, Monday, is another opportunity for a fresh edition of the program. Meanwhile, don't forget to join us for news on the hour on the station. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.